Growth therapy. Rose is taking selfies.
Because his lighting is everything.
I know. It really is. Just gonna wait here.
There's no photos on my dating apps with me in red hair.
See, you gotta do it, or else you'll be catfishing if you don't.
I don't think that's how it works. You're gonna get arrested. You're gonna go to jail. You're gonna go to catfish jail. No, it's because again, I think
I was thinking about that older guy that remember you were telling me about that guy.
Compton Cowboy.
Compton Cowboy.
10 years age difference from what was on his profile to what I saw in real life.
Not that like, I mean, whatever, it's fine.
But I have to say, his 10 years were
very 10 years.
Very dramatic 10 years. I was like, oh wow, you used to drink water.
No, he did.
If
that was me, I would have left. Actually, I don't know. I'm too nice. Let's be real. I'd be all talk.
You know what's so crazy is that someone literally was like, had recognized me actually from the podcast on like one of, I got recognized on the podcast and the dating apps. And he was like, whoa, you're like, not as like heartless I thought you were going to be. And I was like, no.
A guy?
Yeah. A guy recognized me from the podcast.
A guy listens to this podcast?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
We didn't like end up like, nothing came of it.
What was his name?
Fuck. So the B. I think his name was Brandon actually.
Brandon.
Shout out Brandon. But he was like, oh yeah, like you're not as like heartless. And he's like, I didn't mean that in like a bad way. And I was like, no, but I think that's like also really true is because I'm like so crass and blunt and like very Samantha Jonesy that people forget like, oh no, like I'm really actually a good person. Like, you know, Compton Cowboy was a total catfish. I'm loyal to a fault. He was such a catfish that I was like, oh, but let me see. Like, I'm going to at least have a conversation.
You don't want to make him feel like shit. Obviously he's insecure about something. No, but that's still deceiving.
But I mean, yes. Once your insecurity like affects me, then it's like, okay, bro, like, what's happening here? And so I think that like really I can't take myself seriously wearing these sunglasses. Actually, I gotta take them off. But like, yes, when the insecurity like kind of became an issue, I was just like that. It was just also weird. But I have to tell you that 10 years was like, whew, it was dramatic, the difference. I also was getting not catfished, but there was this dude, we'll call him the Aussie. The Aussie was sending me videos of his gorgeous body.
I don't like that.
I know, it was very weird. I kind of unsolicited, nothing dick pics, just like his abs and stuff, and him lifting his shirt. I was like, damn, you got a good body.
Okay.
Then we FaceTimed. I don't know where that body went. It was very old. I don't know if it was the same body. He sent videos. I was like, why do you like? It was like weird because he was like, he's obviously. It was like he's gained a little weight, which is like I'm fine with. I don't give a fuck about weight. I like it more cushion for the pushing. Mm-hmm. But there was just something about him where I was like, these are very, very old videos.
Yeah.
And like, that's just weird.
Like, did the quality look like it was from like an iPhone 4?
It looked like it was from an Android, but he was texting from an iPhone. So then I was like,
that's not right.
But his face was in the videos. Right? Okay. So then when we FaceTime, I was like,
this is old.
This is a before and after, sir. Like it was very,
yeah. Well, like I feel like that's embarrassing to do because of course you're gonna have those moments to be like, this is a different person.
Yeah, but it's also it's very weird, which is why on my dating profile, like I have me in different hairs. Like I have pink, I have blue, I have brunette and blue.
Different. I don't know.
Yeah, but like I don't have because as I think I told you on the last podcast, this red is quite the responsibility. It's been like doing a lot for men. But I think it's also like it's never been a negative thing. Men are just been like, whoa, like they get more excited. So when they see the red, thank you. But when they see the red, they get.
I also like blue. We miss blue.
I know.
Ho-Ro was blue rose. We got a blue wall.
Yeah. I'm just blended in.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think this is now. This new Ho-Rose.
It's a new era.
It's a new era of Ho-Rose because now I think she's like. I don't know. She's like a harlot rose, a whore rose.
She's a red rose.
Yeah. She's a very different girl now. The way that I'm like hoeing it about is not the same way that I was like hoeing it like fucking 4 years ago.
You were very out. Like it was like
was
ruthless.
out in the streets. Ruthless. Right now I think I'm out in the cul-de-sac. I'm not out in the streets. I'm like coming home. You know what I mean? It's just like I'm in I got a roundabout in my neighborhood and I know exactly where I end up in the day and the night, but I'm enjoying it. Oh my God.
Big Sticko's fun.
It's so much fun and I'm so good at it.
Yeah.
I just like, there's just something, and I think I told you, like, without giving like too much information away, like the last conversation I had with Anthony was just kind of this like interesting, like, yeah, I'm letting go now. I'm going to move on.
That was the closure.
That was the closure part 2. Felt like confessions part 2. Very Usher. You know what I mean?
But then there's more to be said, and the last things that need to be said in confessions part 2. We don't need a confessions part 3 and 4 and 5. You know, you have the original confessions, and then it's like, okay, there's a little bit more. Watch this.
Yeah.
Watch this. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, this is actually Usher in sign language now, I feel like. It should be if it's not.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very much that kind of vibe. And I think that like it was a very interesting breakup in that, you know, the first closure part 1 we had was like a literal like breakup, sex, and a handshake. It was just like, I really hope you can find yourself. I hope you're happy. It was just like this very beautiful, tender thing. And then the second one was kind of this like reality of men replace and women mourn. And I just kind of had this like moment of like, oh, this is not just closure, but this is like release. This is like, let me go. Like, because I think before, when the breakup happened in January and then the second conversation happened in June, I was very much like, we'll get back together. Like, this is just like a breakup. Like, it's a break. We're going to figure it out. I still had hope. All the hope's like gone, which is not a bad thing. It just made me realize that I was like, a light bulb went off. Sad? Not really. In a weird way, it didn't make me sad. I think it made me sad because I know that I was an amazing girlfriend. And he knows that I was he says it all the time. He was like, you were such a great girlfriend. You're so amazing. He just wasn't in the right headspace. And him being very more formal about like, oh, I'm already dating other people. And me being like, well, I'm not. Now I am. Because I was like, well, but the idea that like, I realized, you know why it didn't make me sad? Because I realized he stopped knowing me. That last like year and a half of our relationship is that he stopped.
He just resorted back to the old you versus this new profound you.
Yes. And like him being like, I can't believe I'm letting this woman walk out of my life. Like old me wouldn't have done that. And he did. He let me walk out of his life. And I just can't be mad at someone who was too depressed or like too, you know, busy trying to work on himself. I can't be mad at him about that. You know, he's got to work on himself. And I hope him the best. So it's like, that's like different. I'm not as sad as I was before, but it was this beautiful kind of like, and I don't think people realize this about me. Yes, I'm a Scorpio. I'll blame the stars. I'm a very emotional person. I can hold a grudge and everything. But if someone is like, no, we're good, it might take me a while to get to that point. But once I'm there, it's very hard for me to go back. So when he was like, you know, I'm dating other people, I was like, okay, I will too. And then it was just like, I'm good. Like it just was able to like,
it got rid of that hope.
It got rid of the hope. And I think that's what I needed to get rid of. Because if I held on to the hope, I think it would have turned into sadness. And then it would turn into resentment. And then it would have turned into anger. Why aren't we together?
Yeah, I think also just the thought of, oh, you moved on, you're with somebody else or you're dating. That is kind of like, for me, like when he cheated on me, like there was this bit of like, okay, like, cause obviously we know now that he lied, but like he was kind of just like making this like, oh, it was like a one-time thing, even though it was like his ex, but like very unclear about it. And, you know, like, even though we were broken up and still talking, whatever, it was like, I still did have some hope. And then when I finally found out that they were really back together was when it was like, I got to move on.
Yeah.
And there was this, it sucked, but you're right. Like there is this piece of just kind of that closure that it's like, okay, this is done.
Yeah.
And like as an adult and as a person who knows their self-worth, you're like, I need to let this go.
Yeah.
I need to move on to something that is better for me, that I feel chosen.
Exactly. And I feel like one of the other things is I didn't want to sometimes I feel like we also mislabel the hope for, is it desperation? Is it because everyone else tells me that to be optimistic? You know, there is toxic,
positivity.
Yes, exactly. That's a terrible thing sometimes. And so it was like, I think what it was is that I had forgiven up the hope of me being okay. Like, I'm going to be okay. Not that I hope we get back together. And like, that's where I was focusing my time. And so when we had our last discussion, it was kind of like, oh no, hope still exists. I've just been putting it in the wrong place. It belongs over here. Hope is my personal thing. It's not the thing that me and him are going to have anymore.
Right.
Which was really great. I also have to say that I was watching... I'm about to fucking be a nerd. I was watching The Dark Knight Rises.
Oh my God.
It's the last movie in the Dark Knight trilogy. And one of the cool things about in that movie is that he's like, hope is a terrible thing sometimes because it makes you think that
it's a long game.
It's a long game.
Healing.
It's healing. It also can be one of those things that like hope can ruin a man or like a human because of the idea that like, you know, he's trying to get out of that like hole that's like a prison, and like the hope that it might happen is like a terrible thing because you're just like, I will, and it just agonizes you and it cripples you to a point where you're just like so focused that you forget that, oh, there is another way to get out of this.
So one is like, just to like kind of not look at hope as a negative thing, like hope sometimes could be a great thing. When do you think you realize that like, oh, this is past like hope, like this is like toxic hope? Because there's hope where you should have hope in, like, you know, like for instance, like this is so stupid and I've been hanging out with my boyfriend way too much, but like my boyfriend was like, it was like during a Warriors game and he was like, they're fucking done, they lost, they're done. And I remember his like aunt was like, no, just have hope, like there's still time, you just have hope. And then they end up winning and they won the whole championship. So like there's a time where hope is good, but there's a time when hope is just too far and you're hanging on to something that's actually not there.
So, okay, it's funny I love this idea. I love that you brought this up because it reminds me about while I was watching The Dark Knight Rises and it was having the conversation of hope, what I realized halfway through is I go, this is a very male perspective of hope. Because in this movie, it was like, he was like, hope is a terrible thing. But Batman gets out of the fucking hole. So obviously hope worked for him. It didn't work for you, Bane. Like, you know, it was just like one of those things that I feel like sometimes there's this like weird, and then, you know, look, I love me some Brian, that's my homie, but him being like, giving up hope. It's like, and then of course the female in his life, his aunt, the woman energy being like, don't give it up. So I think it's like I think what happens is that a lot of people put pressure on hope that if it's like, I think hope is a little more of an easier cushion than being optimistic. I think that they're sisters, right? Like they're synonyms of each other, but they kind of represent two different things, right? Or like when someone's being completely positive, it's like, it has to. And then you're like kind of like clinging onto it. It's like, oh, it's not breathing.
Like where you're trying to control it.
Yes. And
like you can't control it.
And you can't control it, but you can rely on it. I think hope has a lot of air to it. I think
you're right. Like air is the perfect thing because hope is kind of like when you let go and let it happen. You
relinquish all to the universe.
Hope and cling on. You have to hope for the best. Like literally hope for like whatever happens. And again, you can only control yourself and your actions. You can't control other people's. Yeah. So clinging on and trying to control this person like Anthony to be
my man or my future or whatever
is not good. But to have hope and like whatever happens we're both gonna be happy.
Gonna be
all
fine.
You're gonna be hope for and know that that's where you could have hope and understanding and
and it's not gonna be. We're not going to be together. I know, we're such adults. But we're not going to be together, and that's fine. But I do have hope for both of us to find what we need, right? It's just the idea.
If it's together or not together.
Yeah, but I also think it's really unfair for me to expect something from him.
Right.
You know what I mean? He was like, I need to figure out my shit. And I was like, okay, cool. And then, I feel like most feminine women identifying humans, we get this sense that we're like, oh, we'll get back to everything will be great. It's like he's just got to get time to himself. He's got to figure out who he is and And his was like, well, I'm dating other chicks, and I'm like, well, I look stupid, then okay, bye. Like, but also I'm not mad at him.
You
for that.
saw the reality versus the hope that you thought you were holding on to.
Exactly. It was just this idea that I was like, oh, that's right. I had issues on why we broke up, but like the borderlining problem was not me, right? And that's not to say like, we both had our shit to work out, but like that was my problem, was to think that he just needed time and he'll come back. That was my problem. That's where I fucked up. And then when he kind of like put me back in that reality check, I kind of was like, oh, that's unfair to him. Why am I putting so much pressure on him and his healing process? It's going to take a while. And his life.
Right.
I mean, I think it's fucking weird that we dated for 3.5 years and you already dating girls fucking 5 months after we break up.
But everyone grieves and heals differently and handles their life and makes their decisions. You can't.
And that's the thing is I feel like that's why men grieve by replacing women, is because then they feel like it truncates the time. And then when they get with the woman that they are replacing, they realize that like, oh, you're everything I didn't want. I want this. And so that's why we get the text fucking 2 years down the road when we're finally on top of our shit, and then our entire life gets like sidetracked.
No, all my
you get
exes
the like,
like dealt with me.
Hey girl, I was thinking about, the future
They replaced and settled down.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm good luck, Chuck. That's me.
I have to say that I feel like sometimes I'm very much a buffer. And like, I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. I know that some people get very frustrated
We're all
by
a buffer to somebody.
And
someone's always been a buffer to us. We're all buffers.
No, I only get better and better. I don't think any man's had to buff me. I've been perfect.
You've had people who just are there to pass the time.
That's seasons and reasons. Right? I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Yes.
Yeah.
And I mean, in a weird way, my ex Barry, I feel like he definitely was like a buffer in the sense that I was like, I don't want that.
Right.
Like none of that.
Right. Morgan was a buffer. I loved him, but he was a buffer.
Yeah. I just think in the same way that like, I think in the way that I was thinking about it is that like I've definitely tried to leave a positive experience with any man that I've ever like dated. Fucking, I know I'm leaving a positive experience, but like with dating, it's like different because I want to make sure that like I don't want, it's already hard enough, and then like I don't want to make it any worse. And so, and I think with Anthony it was just like there was this relinquish of just, we did the best we could. We did the best we fucking could.
It was your all.
It was the longest relationship that either of us had been. 3.5 years. It was beautiful. It was amazing. I absolutely love him. I have the utmost respect for him. I know he's going to be completely fine. He's a very brilliant guy. He'll figure out his shit. But it was this very nice moment I had with him where I was like, I can move on now. I don't have to help him heal anymore. I did the best I could. And he even said it. He was like, you've done so much for me. He's like, I've realized how much of like a lot of my own issues. And he was like, you really helped me through a lot. And and he keeps saying it. Like even the last text he sent me, he was like, you were not the problem. You were a great girlfriend. You were an amazing person. And I was like, I really hope that one day you can say that about yourself. Like, it's nice that you said it to me, sir. And it's like, and it's true. I'll pat myself on the, yes, I was an amazing fucking girlfriend. I'm a great girlfriend. But I'm also like, I hope that he gets to that point where he realizes that he's the good boyfriend in the situation.
Yeah.
And I hope that's what I hope for with him. And if it works, then great. And if it doesn't, that's fine. But it was just kind of nice to be like, I did it. I didn't think that I could ever get in another relationship after my crazy abusive ex.
Yeah, and you were like, he was what you needed at that time.
Oh, he was. And it was perfect. And it reminded me that I love being single. Long distance is a thing that I can actually do.
But who you were before him, like
I was wilding out.
Like I remember, one thing is like wilding out, but you also were very like, like what is love, what is intimacy, what is affection. Like you were so like, I have a clip where I was like, well, maybe like your cuddle partner, whatever, what's it, cuffing season partner like turns into something more. You're like, what? No. You're like, that's disgusting. And now like I feel like Anthony was able to show you what love is again, in a beautiful way, even though it's not someone forever or but he was perfect for what you needed, because you were very against love.
I was very against love. I didn't believe in it. I was scorned. I was bitter. I was resentful. And I feel like I was saying like men are trash. I mean, like, let's be honest, a lot of men are trash, but some of it's recycling. Some of it is like just men that was trash.
They just need healing.
They're just reformed. We all need our own healing. So I do think you're right that it really helped put a lot of shit in perspective, and also realizing like toxic femininity and like the men who fall victim to that, and how women can be really fucked up too, and how we hide behind misogyny by being like, well, as a woman, I get to act. And it's like, no, just everyone needs to be kinder.
Right.
And it's also like, I don't understand like why women are striving to act like terrible men, because I don't like when terrible men act to like terrible men.
So
like,
why are we trying to be like them?
Yeah, and I think with like to your point,
but we were like when you're bitter and single and we've been hurt, we've had trauma. Like sometimes it's our way of just
coping. It's trying to make sense. It's literally believing in a God and looking at the science. We just need an explanation to explain why this keeps happening to me and only me.
And feeling like a victim to a lot of things. Which, yes, we were. But
and the circumstances in different situations. And also I was reeling off of a fucking sexual assault. So that was like another thing that I was trying to heal off of, and expecting Anthony to help me through that healing, and realizing like, That's not fair to him. That's also not how to do it. And also that was his thing about me. He was like, you never talk about it. And I was like, but I don't want to. And he's like, but how are you going to get past it? And I was like, fuck. That's where I fucked up. I wasn't telling him what was happening and how I would like swallow a lot of things, where I would get triggered by like a smell or a scent, and he could tell, but he just was like, I'm not going to push it, because you told me not to.
He can't heal you.
Yeah. And it was like, and to your point about like, he did really come at the right moment, is that, he was at the moment my person, but he wasn't my people. Like he didn't meet or like kind of fit in with like the rest of like my world and my community and my people, but he was a really good person to me at that time. So he's not my people, but he was my person, and I appreciated that. I still have a weird thing about cuddling. I don't like cuddling.
It's okay. Everyone deals with affection differently.
I know. Like the engineer was over last night, and he was like,
"Did you not cuddle with Anthony?"
Oh, we cuddled. Anthony and I cuddled all the time, but like
But see, because
he said it took a while.
It's a very intimate thing that you obviously like. You can't just do with anybody, and that's fine.
I think that's my thing. You know how everyone has that one thing they're like, I can't do this with someone, and it's not because you're gonna catch feelings or like whatever, but you're just like,
you just physically like don't like it.
This is very intimate to me.
I don't like winking. I'll do it.
Oh, what is it about? I wasn't gonna. First of all, I always hate when someone's like, I don't like that, and then they immediately do it, and it's like, what did I not? So I'm not gonna wink at you.
Thank you.
Because you know what? I hear you. I respect you, and this is a safe space.
I just feel like it's weird.
It is, because also it's really weird. One time this dude was winking at me, and I literally was like, is there something in your eye? And my friend was like, Rose, he is winking at you.
It's weird to me.
Yeah. No, I get it.
I don't know, but I mean, I think that also cuddling, but
yes, I mean, me, I like cuddling. It's like it's just something. I feel like it gets a little too intimate, and I know that like that's just me. And I hate when guys are like, "What, you think you're gonna catch feelings?" No, motherfucker, it's not about you.
It's because I don't have feelings, and I don't want to cuddle with you.
I have a feeling,
right?
And right now, my feeling is not to do that. So, like, yeah, I can get like the winking thing. It's like it seems very intimate. Also, I feel like winking also makes me think of like. Makes me think of Law and Order SVU, because there's so many times where like the perp is getting arrested and he like winks at Olivia Benson, and then she gets like the scorn. It's just something about winking is a little creepy.
I don't. It's creepy. It's creepy to me. It's creepy.
It's also like you're telling me a secret, and then I'm like, oh, what just happened?
Right.
Like it makes me. But I will say, I just read this book called Animal. It's the same author who wrote this other book called Three Women, and in the book. And this is what it has to do with what you were just saying. In the book, she talks about this guy. She's at a gas station, and he's like looking at her, and he's like rubbing his ear as he's like chewing gum, and he's giving intense eye contact. And she goes, little rapes like this happen 1,000 times a day. And I was like, that's what it is. And as you're saying it, I was like, I also feel weird when guys make eye contact with me, or like when they want to make intense eye contact during sex. I'm like, no, let me like.
Maybe it's like a woman thing, because we are more prone to getting catcalled.
Yeah.
And, like all that.
And it's just, I think it's also like, I don't know what's going on with your head.
Right.
If you're looking at me like that, I'm like,
and it's
I
creepy.
can panic.
I'm just thinking like, why are you like I just get really uncomfortable.
It's like a wolf looking at a lamb. It just feels like I feel like prey in a weird way.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. I feel like prey, and it's uncomfortable.
Yes, and it's like, let's be honest, eye contact with an intimate lover is completely different. Yes, but if it's like unsolicited trying to sex, and I'm like, oh, check out something in my teeth. Like I hope so.
It's weird.
It's weird. It's aggressive.
Yeah, we didn't even do an intro. Should we just do an intro?
24 minutes in? That's a record.
That's a record.
That is a record for us.
We should just do an intro in the middle of it, just to be,
Oh my God, it's like that movie.
Just for the new listeners.
Oh my God, we literally are that movie Drive My Car, where the credits start 40 minutes into the film. Yeah. It's literally the whole movie. If anyone's seen Drive My Car, it's like, it's a short film at the beginning of the movie pretty much, where you're like, I don't know what's happening with his husband and his wife. And then like something happens with his wife. And then it's like the credits start at like minute 42. And then you're just like, and then the movie starts.
What?
And you're just like, this is super weird. This is the Drive My Car episode.
Well, hi guys, 24 minutes in and no point of doing an intro. 25 minutes in and no point of doing an intro, but only doing this for the sake of the new listeners. I'm Stefanie Maegan, your host of Vocal Therapy. And we got Roseanne, McAleese. Ding. And we're continuing the conversation. Just had to do the little.
No, but I love that this is so you do the intro for the new listeners.
Yeah. And I also feel like, I don't know. Yeah. Like what if someone tunes in and they never heard of Rose before?
Oh, hi. That means, oh,
You know what I
man.
mean? Like, I'm always expecting new listeners.
I think that's really good.
You know what I mean?
I'm
So-
Rose. I'm the funny loud friend. I feel like we all have tropes. You know, we're all signed up in the side characters of Broke Girl Therapy, the movie, and that's me. I'm the funny loud friend.
You're like,
I was
"Hi,
actually
I'm Rose.
Hi, I'm Rose. Hi, Rose.
Hi, Rose.
It's been 3 months and 17 days since the last time I've been on this podcast. Oh, welcome. Who's here for the pin? I was actually, I know, that was like, who's been to an AA meeting? Just kidding. Well, I have. I was going to say, Jess.
She's in the audience.
But no, I was actually thinking about, I just got a new tattoo, and I was thinking about, I got
Where?
this.
Oh, what does it say?
It says Radiant and Young.
Aww.
It's on my wrist.
Wait,
It
that's
says,
a really beautiful writing.
isn't it gorgeous?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wrote it.
Isn't it crazy we like learned cursive for no fucking reason?
Well, for tattoos.
Yeah.
That's why
right.
I learned cursive. I was like, literally, as
For
I was
tattoos.
designing it, I was like, this is why I did it.
yeah.
There was like a font I use as an inspiration, and then like the tattoo artist and I were like, oh, we like that, we don't like that, and so we like able to. But one of the original ideas that I wanted to get wasn't Radiant Young. I wanted to get Loud. Like I just in
You
tiny
should.
letters, just in tiny, delicate like block letters, just Loud.
You should.
I know I should, right?
I know.
Should I get it between my titties?
Yes.
Loud.
Loud.
But just because I am. So
Or
I was
like
just-
in your lip.
it fades.
Loud.
But I know. I was thinking about
Loud.
it.
You need
I think I'm gonna
to.
get Loud because now I have 6 tattoos altogether, but I have 3 more that I want to get, and then
I
I
have
think
2
I'm
tattoos and I want more, but I don't even know what to get. I've not been inspired.
done. Is it only those 2?
Yeah.
Why did I think you had 3?
Because I seem like a bitch that would have 3 or more.
Yeah, it is
I don't
kind
know.
of a
Do
thing.
I don't even know.
Jess, do you have any tattoos? 4
4.
tattoos. 4 is a good number.
4 is a good
I've also
number.
been thinking about, I don't know if I'm cool enough, but I really want to get above the knee tattoo. There's something about girls.
My best friend Rhea has an above a knee tattoo, and she's very cool.
Ride bikes.
And
They're
they,
so cool.
they ride bikes.
Dude, see, that's what I'm saying. It's like girl
Everyone
gays
with-
and theys that have
Yeah.
an above the knee tattoo. I'm just like, you're the coolest
Anyone
person.
anyone with the above the knee tattoo is so cool.
so
I just don't think
badass.
I have like the. I mean, I'm not shading my thighs. My thighs are great. They thick
They're
and
gorgeous.
they juice. They gorgeous.
But I know what you're about
but
to
they're
say.
not like they. I feel like it just nothing. I don't know.
It's the same way like when you get your ears pierced and then you tell them and you're like, look, sweetheart, you have beautiful ears, but that your ears not.
right. It's you don't have the ears. For
No,
it.
I wish someone told me that I didn't have the ears for an industrial because then my fucking ear, like I had an industrial in this ear and I
always wanted an industrial, and I'm so glad I didn't because everyone who has an industrial like
I regret it. My ear folded over because it was so heavy.
Oh my god!
I know it was bad. I got it when I was like
everyone got
17.
into gauges.
Oh god, that's a big thing. I'm so glad I didn't get into that. My mom was like, "What am I gonna do? Spit through your earlobe?" And I was like, she hated it.
People like I had a friend in high school who had like huge ass gauges. He would put his phone through his gauges, and it smelled so bad.
Ew, that's disgusting. Oh
Yeah.
my god, he got it done at Claire's icing, and then he got an Orange Julius afterwards.
Yes,
Oh, that's so. They smelled bad. What do they,
they
smell
smell
like?
so bad.
Why he did?
Clean it.
Why can't you clean your gauges?
Take it out. So
Yeah, it just it just
You don't
stinks.
spray it because when I just got this one, I got one done. I got my double ears pierced. I was
Okay.
in New York and I was like wanting to get a tattoo, but the girl was like had to cancel. So then I was like, great, I'll just get my ears pierced.
Right.
So I got my ears double pierced for the first time at 32 years old, and then I got this little guy in here. I don't know, conch.
Conch.
I got the conch. I think that's what it's called.
Oh.
So it's like
It's
the
you're
conch
calling me a
piercing.
conch.
What is it?
I
No,
don't
like
know.
the shell.
Okay.
Conch.
Oh, yeah, like
Am I saying-
SpongeBob.
Yeah, am I saying a bad word?
I don't know why. I thought you called me a conch.
Like a cunt?
I don't know.
What was a conch mean?
I don't even know. That's why I was offended. I don't even, what's happening?
You're acting like a white woman. Offended. I don't even know what it means. I think you're being offensive. I'm calling the PC police. Dear Twitter, Stefanie Maegan is at it again, being offensive. Sorry, I became an Amy. But no, this one, Piers. I'm not even going to say it anymore because I'm like worried that I'm like saying some fucked up term or something. But I heard it was conch shell, like a conch, like a shell,
okay.
but like right there.
I
So
don't
I
know
got.
why. Sorry.
It's okay. I think it's beautiful. How are you? Are you okay?
I think I just got zoned out when I think my ADHD kicked in, and then
That's
you were
okay.
talking about your. I don't know what I was thinking, and then you were talking about ears, and you went conch, and I'm like, what?
Okay, but I'm gonna make the story short. But basically, I cleaned this, right?
Yeah.
I pierced it and I cleaned it, so it's so crazy that your friend couldn't clean the gauges. But here, I'm gonna jump back now.
Yeah.
I can tell when you zone out of conversations. And do you know what I do?
What?
I look at you and I think I'm going to keep talking. And then I keep talking. And then I look back at you. And then like, I see this like recognition in your eyes where you're like,
conch.
Okay, she was saying something. And then like but the funny thing about the conch thing is that was you not realizing you said it out loud. I could tell in your voice where you're like, conch. And then you're like, why did I say that out loud? Like, what was she? I just don't understand that. It was like a recognition of like, I can see the ADD behind your eyes kick in.
Just like not like
I can see the hamster wheel just stop. And then I see it pick
like
up again.
Reload and like
yeah,
reload.
pretty much. Like, you know, it's like,
like
you know,
I like had a little glitch.
Yes, like Control Alt Delete, and then it's just like
Task Manager.
Oh my god!
Restart,
or like when you remember when it was like Nintendo 64 and you take it out and blow the cartridge,
and
then put it back in. And it's like that. I could see the. And you being like,
or when the CD keeps skipping, so you take it out and go
and rub it on your titty.
Yeah.
Oh my god! I remember
that was me right now. That was
That's the day. That's the day I realized that I had big titties. Is that I took out the late registration Kanye West album, and it kept skipping and around Drive Slow, which was my favorite song, and then I was just like. I have titties because I was like able to rub the CD on them.
Oh my god!
When
did you get your first bra?
My first bra wasn't until like. Well, like I got like the sports bras that like your poor mom is just like, okay, look, these things are going to show up one day.
Yeah.
People forget I technically was a very late bloomer. Oh. I didn't get my titties until sophomore year of high school.
What?
I know.
I had titties in the 5th grade.
That's you and my sister.
Really?
My sister. And you got your period pretty early, huh?
Yeah.
I got my period when I was 15.
What?
But I lost my virginity at 14. So yeah, I know. Yeah, I lost my virginity at 14. Oh, wait. No, that's a lie. I wasn't 15. I was 14 when because I was still in 8th grade.
And then 14, like you were like almost turning 15?
Yes.
I don't know.
That's when it was. No, you can get pregnant before your period.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. That's why I want one of these episodes to be me teaching fucking sex education. The 10-year-old girl who got pregnant, who had to go to Illinois to get not Illinois, Indiana or one of those states. She didn't, you can get pregnant before your period.
Yeah. So Jessica, your little clip thing was inaccurate.
And no one said anything, so
yeah. No one knows this.
Wait, this is why I'm like, should we talking about a no, we're talking about fucking
okay.
Well, sex education is very important, you guys. But yeah, no, you can get pregnant on your period. You can get pregnant before your period. You can get pregnant after your period. A period, the whole idea of pregnancy is just a viable egg and a uterus. It does not matter at what point. Because if you think about it, there are a lot of women who don't get periods until very late in their life. A lot of the time, the group people use.
Fertile.
You don't think you're fertile? My sister said it best. The second you say that, you better be careful.
I'm not manifesting. I just
knock on wood.
Just a little curious. If not, whatever. I will adopt.
But also keep it.
What makes you think that?
Girl, I've been raw dogging it
for how long?
The whole relationship. I'm just even. I mean.
But do you guys? You've been okay. So you and Brian don't have sex with a condom. But are there times where you don't? Are you at like
he
regulating?
He always pulls out and pray. Went viral. We know.
I know.
Pull and pray.
But do you guys also, do you know when your period's about to happen? Do you know your ovulation cycle at all? So
I do the calendar method.
Oh, then that's a form of birth control.
Okay.
But some people call it the rhythm method.
Even before I did the calendar method, we were just fucking and sucking and.
Well, you also can't get pregnancy from giving head.
Sucking. Okay.
Well, fucking yes, but from sex. But that's the thing. There's like, that's apparently the number one question Dr. Ruth gets is, can I get pregnant from giving head?
No.
And she's like, nope, it just goes right through your body. But a lot of people
I definitely
don't know
Googled that in the 8th grade because I wanted to make sure.
Yeah, I mean,
Not
it's
that I was
true.
doing that, but I was just
hello. We also used to, I don't know about y'all, but when I was little, I used to think that babies kind of have butts, you know? Like, you don't know. Well, because where did it come out?
I don't know. God prayed. That's what my parents told me.
It was a Cabbage Patch Baby?
Cabbage Patch.
Where it just was like out in the yard? Did you ever hear that one?
No, I just thought, I don't know. I would always ask my mom, like, where did babies come from? She's like, we prayed.
Oh, see, that's crazy. My mom literally told me. She was like, a man has
your mom
my mom was like, here's
sure.
She was like, it was like early morning and I like jumped in her bed and she's like half asleep. And I was like, Mom, where do babies come from? And she's like heavy sigh. And she's like, look, a man has an instrument and a woman has like a vessel. And then and I was like, whoa. And she like used the terms and everything. And then she was like, 9 months later you came out. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And I like walked away and I was like, that is not what they told me on the playground. I was like, that is not what I heard. And then I just remember like going back to school being like, do I tell the gospel that y'all don't know how babies are made? Like, this isn't how babies are made, you know?
Right.
But no, so like I think this is not how, yes, because, you know, holding hands, cooties, all that shit, you know? But like the calendar method is a way of, you know, some people call it the rhythm method. It's a way of birth control.
Yeah, which
and
we
also,
have a whole episode we talked about.
And I was about to say, a lot of people have been using it for fucking millennium before there was actual like birth control and shit like that.
To get pregnant and to not get pregnant.
Yes. And also keep in mind, it's not that you couldn't be necessarily fertile. It just probably means at this point in your life right now, it's like the amount of eggs that you're releasing. It's like if you make the effort to more like get pregnant during your ovulation, absolutely. But a lot of people, sometimes some women don't get pregnant until like on their period, like, you know, not on their period, but like before their period. It's like ovulation is a very interesting thing that like you just don't know. People can get pregnant on the first try. Some people need to like try forever.
Some people get pregnant hella fast. And some people like have to try.
But I also think it's like one of those things where it's like your body, you know, we're still trying to like figure out like, you know what you want in a way. I don't know what my point was just now. My brain, I just had it.
What was that?
I don't, you know what? It's contagious. You're fucking,
like,
your modem.
Where were you going?
I don't know where I was going with that. I was about to say we are still trying to figure out things about uteruses. I guess we're still trying to learn education about uteruses.
Yeah, should we read it?
Yeah, at that rate, I don't know what happened. Things. I've never, I've thought about freezing my eggs, but I
want to freeze my eggs.
My insurance covers it. I just don't. I don't know. Again, I don't know if I want them. I've always thought of adoption. I've always been a timid option. I would be like, you know what? There's a lot of kids in the world that are like, but do not think that I'm a pro-lifer. Fuck them hoes. Fuck them hoes. That was a funny thing. There was a sticker, like a bumper sticker that hung on me and my sister's childhood fridge that our parents put up that says, it said, stop having sex with pro-lifers. Ooh. And it was great and amazing. And then my dad took a photo of it recently because of the, you know, terrible fucking government taking away our rights. And I just was like, Claire was like, I remember reading that when I was like 9, being like, why do mom and dad got against lifers? Like, what's wrong with being like,
it's so funny because I'm sure in my like fridge, it was probably like, save the baby.
Yeah, right. Save the baby. Yeah. Don't have sex.
Or don't have sex.
But like save the baby when you have sex. You know what I mean? Because that's the other thing about like, what does don't have sex mean?
I told one time we were, it was like my mom and I visited my brother in Texas, and our cousins and our aunts, like, we're all there. And we got into a political debate. Me, my brother, my siblings, or not my siblings, sorry, my cousins are like obviously more progressive. We're millennial, Gen Z. And then like our parents are like older immigrants, you know, voted for Trump, pro-life, very religious, pro-lifers. I like told my mom, I said out loud, I was like, if I get pregnant, I'm a it.
Good for you.
And then she was like, you're an atheist.
An atheist.
Yeah.
No, you should be like, no, mom, I actually believe in the God that doesn't want me to have this baby.
Right. That's what I said. I was like, actually, you're wrong. My brother's the atheist.
There you go.
I didn't say that because I didn't want to like call out my brother because that's his business. But I like looked at him like, yo, yeah, who's the atheist?
No, it ain't us.
But he can't say it to my mom. My mom still doesn't even know. But I'm like, I believe in God.
Yeah, I believe in the God that allows me to things.
Exactly. Believes in gay marriage.
That's my other thing is that someone like, fuck them. Stop using religion in the idea of it is church versus state. Because here's my thing about the whole like abortion is bad because it's in the Bible. First of all, it's a lie. It's not. It's not true. And then the other thing is I respect people's religion. But why the fuck do people with religion don't respect me and my life choices? So it's like, I love religious people. So one of my favorite, girl, I believe in the God you believe in because your God is a beautiful and amazing human being.
I love
right?
Jessica's belief system.
It's gorgeous. It's amazing. And like what's great.
I'm not religious. I'm relationship.
She's
There you go. See, and I love that. And I love that, like,
I
with
love
this,
her. I love how she handles her relationship with God.
Yes, and I think it's one of those amazing things where it's like, fuck, that is what's so inspiring and so amazing and so great. And I was like having a conversation with my friend Jasmine, who I literally, whoever Jasmine's God is, that's the God I signed up for. I love Jasmine's God.
That's why I'm like, I love Jessica's God for sure.
I'm like, I'll hang out with Jasmine and her God any day of the week. He kicks it, he parties, he like fucking believes in everything.
No shade.
And so it's like one of those things where I just like look at and I'm like, bro, this has nothing to do with you. And one of the biggest problems with this whole like pro-lifers Roe versus Wade is y'all aren't fixing the system to let me have this baby anyways.
Exactly.
Y'all aren't paying for my, first of all, you know what? If fucking the child is a baby at conception, then have that motherfucking man pay me child support the second he fucking comes in me. Pay child support.
Exactly.
I need you guys to pay child support.
Pay me to carry this motherfucking baby into the world.
Exactly. So if you're going to tell me right now.
Pay me for this fucking birth.
You do it. You fucking pay me. Let's
start with free tampons.
Free tampons. Give me free tampons. Give me free condoms. You know what I mean? Not enough places that get free condoms.
Just give us fucking rights.
Give us them. It makes no fucking sense.
Free fucking health care.
Oh my God, I know. Why is that such a why is that such a
why
weird
is it
thing?
so expensive just to give birth to a baby?
Why is it so expensive to live? Like, y'all we're really paying to die right now. Like, it's so expensive to live, and it's fucking bullshit, and it's really unfair to the amount of people. Because here's the other thing. And this, I'm ready. I'm fucking.
I like this.
Get on my soapbox.
I'm giving you your
Roe versus Wade is not going to affect bitches that look like me. White girls will always, forever and ever, because of our privilege, because of our fucking fathers that we defend too much, because of our shitty Trump voting brothers that defend us too much, because of our proximity to how much fucking privilege we experience because we are white before we are women sometimes, Roe versus Wade is not going to affect us whatsoever. Roe versus Wade is going to affect my friends that are fucking black, women, indigenous humans. Okay, trans men that are going to be the ones that have to actually struggle. We are very privileged that we live in a state that has a governor that was like, we are good. If you need abortion, you can get it. But this thing is not going to affect me. So if the fucking white women of the world, fellow fucking white women who are pro-choice, can we just like shut the fuck up for right now? Like,
pro-choice?
Can we just, like, pro-choice? Like, the fact that they're, you're not. That's the other thing. I hate the term pro-choice. I hate the term pro-life because it's not pro-life. You only care about one life. You don't give a fuck about the woman carrying it. That's the other thing. You care about the eggs, but not the egg carton. It's stupid. You want me to bring this thing into life, and then you expect me to be a good parent. You expect me to be a good mom. Where the fuck is the dad? If anything, I feel like if a baby, I'm going to be some Legally Blonde shit right now.
Let's go into
I
it.
think every man should be charged with if he comes in a girl and the girl doesn't have a baby.
Yeah,
that's a fileable thing. You fucked up, bro. You didn't get me pregnant.
It gives them fucking accountability. It's like there's two people that make a fucking kid.
Yes, and it's fucking bullshit. But the idea of with the white women in the world that are pro-choice, I really think that we need to like realize like we're gonna be good. And I'm not saying that we need to like stop talking. Obviously, I am a pro-choice white woman and everything, but we do need to realize and use our privilege for good and not evil, and focus all our resources and opportunities to the women and trans humans and viable humans that can give birth to babies all the attention and love and affection they need right now. Because these are the people that are really going to be affected by Roe versus Wade. People will find what state they're going into. The problem is they're going to go get the back alley fucking hanger, and that is not good.
It's going to be dangerous.
It's going to be dangerous as fuck.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where it's like, don't tell me.
They're not going to end.
They're never going to end.
It's
and
just
they
now they're not safe.
Now they're not going to be safe.
That's the only thing. It's like these pro-lifers are fucking idiots.
They're idiots. And also none of them want to adopt these babies. They're like, adoption's an option. No, it's not.
Well, are you going to fucking adopt?
No. But you'll go fucking, I don't know, adopt a child from a third world country instead, which is also really fucked up and weird because I feel like that's, sometimes it feels like human trafficking, but that's a different podcast. But like this idea and notion of like, no, like you're not going to fix it that way. We're going to fix it with universal health care. We're going to fix it with paid paternity leave from all fucking jobs. We're going to fix it by raising the minimum wage. The fact that all these wealthy men have become wealthier during COVID, but the minimum wage has not gone up for those people that were the frontline workers. Remember when we used to love the frontline workers? The people that had to go to work?
Oh, yeah. We like clapped every day at like
Every
9
day for the fucking nurse at 9 p.m. for those hosts. You know what? Their fucking minimum wage hasn't gone up. It hasn't gone up.
I'm going to name this episode Rose for President.
Oh, no, I could never.
We'll continue.
I would never want to be president. Do you know why?
Because you've been on this show.
Yes.
And they can
I'm not going to. Actually, you know what?
You should.
No, I could never be a president. Because here's my thing about politics. I don't think I have the patience to come to the middle. You know? That was actually one thing I learned a lot, especially from Anthony, was that Anthony was very level-headed. He saw everything as black and white. There was no gray area for him. I definitely am a gray area hoe. That is where I live, reside. It's where I pay rent. It's where I own. Like, gray area is my lifestyle.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, well, and then,
There's always,
you know.
yeah.
But, like, the thing that he helped me with is the idea that there has to be some compromise and the idea of, like, there are black and white. It is right. It is wrong. Left, right. You know, I am someone that's not. I think
I'm in the gray area as well.
But I'm not going to.
Well.
But the thing is I'm not going to stop. Like, you know, I look at all the people I admire that are great politicians and I see them have to compromise for things that you can tell, like, hurts them. You know what I mean? Like, the amount of times, you know, you see AOC being like, I'm fucking exhausted. Or Elizabeth Warren being like, fucking A, you hoes. Why do I have to convince you guys that I'm a good human? You know, that I would be a great president. So it's just like that thing. I respect politicians. Actually, no, I don't respect politicians. I admire politicians and what they have to do, and I could never do that.
Yeah, because you're putting yourself up to be, you know,
and I
ridiculed.
And also, more importantly, I hate that they forget that they're public servants. They work for us. We don't work for them. So this whole idea of, like, they're kind of forgetting that, like, no, motherfuckers, like, I voted you in to make changes that I want. You know what I mean? And plus, I want to be that person. I want to be the person yelling and being like, no, you didn't do that well enough. You know, you can't do that when you're a politician. You have to listen. You have to be like, okay.
You have to take it. Yeah.
You have to be a public
It's like
servant.
when like the whole like George Floyd thing happened and everyone was calling everyone was like, what were they saying? You know what I mean? When they're all calling those like people and they're like, I yield my time. Fuck you.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. And you're like, I want to be that person. I want to be the person yelling at the president being like, excuse me. We still do not have a fixed prison reform. Excuse me. Why now is gay marriage up on the chopping block? Like, you know, why do we have to protect these fucking things that are just like rights? And also, I think it's really fucked up that like there's so many politicians. Like, if you look at the Supreme Court, all those motherfuckers that say they would hold Roe versus Wade in things lied. They lied under oath. Why aren't they getting sanctioned? Why aren't they in trouble? You lied under oath. Motherfuckers have gone to jail for far less fucking reasons. And you guys for having weed, which by the way is legal in a lot of states nowadays. So it's just like you look at those motherfuckers and you're just like, I want to punch you, Brett. Like, ew, the fact that we have a Supreme Court judge with the first name Brett just like bothers me.
You know he's a douche.
He's a
look
douche.
At his face. He's a fucking douche.
Also, the fact that again, people say women are emotional. I'm sorry, have you watched that man testify? He was crying over beer and calendars. Yes. I don't give a fuck about you, Brett. But the woman who had to fucking recount her entire rape and assault and how poignant and fucking that woman, I have so much respect. Like, I think about what happened to me and I can't even talk about it. She had to do it over and over and over and over again. I have the utmost respect for her. And you got Brett crying over calendars and fucking his weird friend's name Gigolo and shit like that. I don't know. And then you got Clarence Thomas's whack ass. He's stupid.
All of them. What are your thoughts? This is the episode that like really... What are your thoughts on Johnny Depp and Amber Heard?
Oh my God, I was gonna ask.
Hurt people.
Yeah.
I think you're trying to get me in trouble. No, I think they're both terrible human beings that low key deserved each other.
Yeah.
I think he's abusive. I think she's manipulative.
Yeah, I'm not team Johnny. I'm not team Amber. I'm literally like team no one.
They're the greatest example of me when I wake up sometimes and I think I hate humanity. Yeah. Because I think of them. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like both of them are just terrible human beings.
They're both equally terrible. That's why I'm so confused when I see people who are like, I'm like Team Johnny, like da da da, or like, oh my God, like no one ever listens to women. Look at Amber, and I'm just like, I look at them as both awful. Like, can I not pick one? Like, I've just been and I've been trying to like read and do research on it. And I'm like, I don't know how anyone could really pick. They're both awful. They're both awful.
Here's my thing about them. That like what it comes down to, it's like it's not as bad. Please note what I'm about to say, as I am not comparing Johnny and Amber to Kim and Kanye. What I'm about to say is, remember when we were talking about the Kim and Kanye thing, and we both were like, all we care about is the kids, right? Like that is the whole like thing where it's like, I don't like Kim and I don't like things about her, but in this situation, you know, you're being sympathetic. When I look at Amber and Johnny, and I try to understand the humanity and the like sympathy and empathy towards either of those people, I look at them and I realize they both fucking suck because they're celebrities with money. Both of them thought they could get away with shit. Both of them thought they could get away with shit because they have money. So what I don't like about Johnny and Amber, y'all rich people. Y'all just spoiled ass two spoiled rich people. It does not matter you're a man. It does not matter if you're a woman. You guys
Gender
are just
has literally nothing to do with this.
Because I think about that all the time where it's like, if I thought of it as two women, I still would think both of them suck, but I wouldn't think that all women suck now, right? It's not that, yes, we don't listen to women. We do not listen to women. I'll give us that. But the idea is that we did listen to Amber, and Amber did get her justice in a fucking UK court. She did not get her justice in the US court, okay? So there you go. Those motherfuckers couldn't choose who was worse between the two. Everyone's kind of divided on that. For me, I look at them and I'm like, y'all are too rich and too privileged to actually affect the people that I know. Like my aunt, who had to go fucking fight tooth and nail for her terrible ex-husband, you know what I mean, who was a cop. So he had everyone on his side, you know what I mean? And I think, no, like I feel like my aunt, the people, like those are the women that I like feel bad for, but she's not rich. So no one's coming to her thing. No one cares about them. They're a high profile case. They were a great distraction. I'll give that to Johnny and Amber. They came at like such a perfect time, and like it was before Roe versus Wade. Yeah.
Right.
We had nothing else to. We wanted to, you know what? Because people didn't want to realize that there is a genocide happening in Ukraine. There's a genocide happening in Sudan right now. There's so many fucking dumb things in the world that are happening right now.
It was a distraction. It was nothing that was like good. It's none of our business.
It's none of our business. And it was like a great example of you can't pick sides when people are terrible.
Right.
They're just both horrible human beings.
Both horrible. Like equally
just terrible human beings.
Yeah.
Do I think that
I was like trying to find a side of like, should I like just but then like she's lying and what, and I'm like, actually, so I'm so glad that you said that, because I felt like I was the only one.
No,
that's why I was like, I wonder, like maybe you have more information on why one side is better, I guess. But the fact that I was like, okay, that kind of validated my thoughts, honestly, so thank you.
And what's so crazy is I have a lot of friends that are like, I have like actually two friends that are coming to mind. One that is very much Team Johnny because she just doesn't like Amber, and one that is Team Amber because she's such a feminist. And I like look at them both and I'm like, can we find better people to defend? Like we don't need to use them as these like, you know, tent poles. Can we just hold them
accountable for being shitty no matter their fucking gender?
For being shitty and rich.
Right.
Just like you guys both kind of suck. Like I hate to say it. I think they're just both just rich, terrible, weird humans.
Yeah.
That are just like, what I do have to say though, okay, from watching all the like court docs and like reading all the tweets and everything, is that true star is that woman who is Johnny Depp's lawyer. When she was asking Amber, how much money did you donate?
Yeah.
No, Amber, you didn't donate any money. That woman is the true star. I have to say, if I had to
there like dating rumors
anyone,
between Johnny and her?
No! Were there?
Yes. People like, I don't know. That's obviously trash fucking.
But sometimes
trash gossip probably. But I mean,
TMZ shit. But I don't know. Sometimes TMZ. I hate to say it. TMZ has broken stories.
TMZ. It's because they go to TMZ to break the stories.
Yeah, that's true. But I have to say though, like she was the star.
Yeah.
I'm team her just because I was like, girl, you did your job.
Yeah, she really did. She
woke up every morning. She put on her Chanel or her Miu Miu suit or her like J. Crew Banana Republic blazer, and she delivered. She was a lawyer. She brought the facts. She was like Ally McBeal meets like, you know, the mom from The Good Wife. Like she was a lawyer, and so like I liked her. Everyone
Team
else,
her,
I'm
yeah.
team her.
She was just doing her job.
She was doing her job.
And she did it.
Johnny and Amber, you know, maybe
Suck.
in 10 years when they do the fucking Netflix or the Hulu TV show and fucking Ryan Murphy turns it into like whatever he does with TV shows, then yeah,
True
maybe
crime,
we'll talk
American
yeah,
Horror Story,
exactly.
true crime.
Fucking a American Horror Stories. It won't even be a true crime. It would just be American
True
Horror
Horror
Stories.
Stories.
The Johnny Depp Amanda. So yeah, no, they both are just
They
great
suck.
examples.
Okay, I'm glad that I was like, because I was like, do I have to pick a side? Because I was like,
No.
I see them as like both awful, but I was like, does that make me like not for women? And it's like, also is it bad to be rooting for this man who might potentially be in a like it was just like all these things where I didn't know where to.
And I think it also opened a conversation of all, like, again, we've talked about this on the podcast, but like the idea of like, there are different types of abuse. There are like emotional, financial abuse, psychological abuse. Like there's different forms of abuse. And I feel like that case was an example of all of it. All of it was fucking lies, manipulation. Again, I think a lot of it had to do with just being rich and stupid and bored and stuff. And I think it's really weird how, not weird, because I understand why you were like, why do I have to choose sides? But I do think it's really weird sometimes where people are like, if I'm not team Amber, I'm an anti-woman. It's like, no, because my whole thing about feminism and being a feminist is I would like to be able to look at a woman and hold her accountable for not being good enough or like fucking up. You know, like I look at someone like,
just because she's a woman doesn't mean she's not bad.
I mean, if that's
we're all capable of being horrible people and doing horrible things. Like,
honestly, I think that's the most feminist thing you could do.
Right.
Is to look at a woman and be like, you suck.
Exactly, and holding other women accountable for like if they're awful. Like I'm not gonna
like Tommy Lasagna. Like fuck that cunt.
Feminism is really all about equality.
Yes,
it's not about it gets misconstrued because there really are those extremists that are like, oh, women only like type of thing, but it's like, no, I mean, women fucking suck too.
Yeah, don't.
And men fucking suck, yes, but like,
and now
everyone sucks, and we should hold all the people that suck accountable, and all the people who are great, no matter. Like, honestly, gender should just be thrown out the window.
Well, yeah, gender's a construct that doesn't really fucking matter and everything.
Yeah,
and I also think that it's one of those things where it's like we can just be like, let's just be better people. Let's just be kinder to each other, you know? And they were just like, in a weird way, it was this zeitgeist, I think, interesting social experiment to watch that case and to see where people fell and how we think as humans. Like, again, I think even the justice system is like a weird gray area when it comes to situations like that.
Where people stand and why they stood for certain people.
And like why there has to be this definite about this case in particular. Why do I have to have a point on this case? Why do I have to side with either Johnny or fucking Amber? What if I look at like the girl the woman that just got exonerated for killing her pimp 30 years ago? I'm on that woman's side. You know what I mean? Like I'm just like, let's talk about like the cases that are better. I just think they were rich and spoiled, and both are weird.
It was just a movie. It was a movie at that point.
And we'll watch the miniseries when it comes out on Hulu in 2025.
Probably next year.
Yeah.
Probably end
whatever
of this
the
year.
rights. I was about to say there's probably someone.
I think there's already like a 2020 thing on it, so it's fine. It's probably already like made. Yeah.
Someone's already making it. Oh man. Plug yourself. Just kidding.
Any last words on? We were supposed to read emails, but it's fine. This was better. John, we were done with Johnny and Amber.
I know. I realize that there's a lot of times. This is also why I don't watch my own episodes. There's a lot of times where I say things where I'm like, "Oh, come on, Rose, you could have said that."
That happens to me all the time. Where it's like
Yeah.
I worded things something like I worded something that maybe realize it came across a little different than I.
Yes, and it's very aggressive, and I feel like in our culture we're really good at finding people where they fucked up. But my main thing is, I think when it comes to, I think it is my decision, and it's my homies. It's whoever needs to have that service. It should be their decision. Fucking dumbass motherfuckers that live that are on a Capitol Hill somewhere in DC.
Just take religion out of this shit, man.
Yeah,
if you don't want to have a person personally, that's fucking fine. But you can't make that decision for anybody else.
I mean, look, I don't like
And not everyone is religious. You know what I mean? Everyone has different beliefs. Like, don't they preach like that? Like, we should all respect each other's beliefs and religions. Like, why can't, like you said, like, then let me respect my decision and what I do with my body.
And you know what it is, though? But I think in a weird way, the benefit not the benefit, but like the hope. Here we go. The hope of what happened with Roe versus Wade is to realize how much we actually are anti-woman. How this country actually really does hate women.
We still have so much work to do.
We still have the same way that a lot of people woke up for the first time, which is so sad, during June 2020 during the protests and realized that racism was a problem, is the same way that I think a lot of people woke up the day after Roe versus Wade and realized that, like, wow, this country really doesn't give a fuck about women. And it really does not give a fuck about poor women. Doesn't give a fuck about indigenous women, trans men who can also give birth, humans in that sense of the capacity. Like, this country doesn't give a fuck about us. And I think a lot of the times when you look at the beautiful change that we do watch is during radical pressure. And this right now is a moment of radical pressure where it's like, we're not going to rest. I don't want your kid to have to live in a country where this is a question again. It should just be solidified and figured out. And it does break my heart when
Sometimes I don't have hope. Is that fucked up?
No, it's fine.
Sometimes
Remember we said that. Hope comes and goes.
Right. Like sometimes I just feel like sometimes I have so much hope. And I'm like, we're changing the world. And then there's moments where I'm like, oh, we're just fucked up.
No, we are. We're really
just fucked up. Like,
I mean, this is me stealing from the great human being who tweeted this, but she was like, Earth is ghetto. And I was like, yeah, and humans are terrible humans. Like, it's true. But I think for moments like this, I'll hold on to hope for you right now.
Okay.
I got you.
Like, it almost made me, like, when it all happened, like, it was fucking depressing, but it was also, like, so numbing because I was just like, I don't expect anything less.
And you know what?
Or anything more. Sorry.
Yeah.
Like, I expect less, actually.
Yeah.
I just don't expect anything. Like, I was just kind of like, of course. Of course.
And I think I got you on that.
Thank you.
And I think also this then plays into what we were talking about earlier, where it's like, I think that a lot of white women allies, this is when we can step up and try to be like, look, it's really hard to be positive when you are a woman of color in this country.
You need to do like a lesson on how to be the right white woman ally, because I feel like there's still a lot of white women, quote unquote, allies who I'm not going to throw shade, who suck, yes, but like I'm going to say they have a lot of work to do. They don't know what it's like to, I think a lot of times, and I'm going to give credit because like, fuck the cancel culture. Like people still have a lot of room to grow, and like, there's a difference between someone who's just hateful and like deserves whatever, but like there's also people who just are like don't even know, like, and are still figuring it out. And
I have to say about the whole idea of cancel culture is like what I think is it's fucked up because it no longer means what it means, but it's also sometimes it's not even cancel culture, it's being held accountable culture. So you fucked up, bro. Own it.
Should we just talk about cancel culture? We're supposed to plug ourselves.
I
feel like I have opinions about. So I at first was like all about cancel culture because, again, holding each other accountable. That's really what the whole premise of cancel culture is, because obviously media and music before that we would listen to was always like questionable, very questionable and very problematic. So people need to be held accountable for the things they say and actions and need to learn more. I think it's gone. Well, I also think that no one actually really gets canceled. No, because people come back. It's not even real. Yeah, Louis C.K. won a Grammy. Right. So no one's really getting canceled. And then also, I just feel like there's always those people who take it to a certain extent and then they start bullying others and like saying things that are just very like fucked up, for like no reason, and not giving space to those to like learn. We just be holding each other accountable, but at the same time, like accepting that we're human. Yep. And we shouldn't say things to hurt people. And also, no one really gets canceled.
Yes. And then the retrospect of it is now us, the audience, the vultures, the people that are like, cancel. What we also have forgotten to do is to accept apologies. Because there are times that people handle it really fucking well. I feel like the best example is Lizzo. Lizzo had a song called Girls, and she used a derogatory term towards disabled people, the word spaz, and someone tweeted her and was like, hey, I don't like that as someone who, that's using, and you know what Lizzo did? Lizzo goes, girl, you're right, my bad, I'm so sorry, and changed it. Immediately went back in the studio and changed it, took the word out of the song. That was it.
Let's move on.
But like she addressed it, and she was like, I fucked up, my bad. She didn't use it to promote her album. She didn't use it to promote the single. She just fixed it, and then she just was like, yep, and then kept pushing. That was a really great moment. There was still people that were still dragging on it and was like, she shouldn't have used it to begin with. She didn't know. She was uneducated. She didn't know. She didn't think it was
Right.
offensive. It rhymed.
A lot of
with
us
the way-
didn't know.
A lot of people don't know. She like heard it. She was like, okay, my bad. Heard her people and everything and kept it going. I do think sometimes there are people who genuinely come forward with apologies and we still don't like, we're like, no, that's not good enough. It's like,
Do you ever think that like people are just way too sensitive?
Yes and no. I do think people are way too sensitive, but I also do think that the sensitive people for the first time ever have been able to talk and they feel like they have a lot of time to make up for. You know what I mean? Because I feel like there's a lot of people that we know in community that have been oppressed and have experienced a lot of fucked up shit, and now they're in positions of power, and now what they're doing is they're just like fucking going after everyone, and they're turning this kind of it into a negative experience instead of being like, because what happens, I think a lot of people start sounding more like their enemy than they realize.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah. I agree.
I think that it's not it's sensitivity,
Like
but
their feelings are valid,
but then they're also like, you sound a lot like you're telling people you can't say that to me. You know, it's just like you're getting all up front. The PC culture, you can't. And it's like, oh, okay, chill.
Right.
You know, and I think there's like a responsibility for sure in the idea of how you approach those things and everything. But for the most part, we got to accept apologies. We got to understand that like sensitive people, this is the first time that a lot of humans have been able to be like, that offended me. I want to just bring that up. And then people are like, okay, cool. We haven't heard from you before. You know what I mean? We didn't realize that was offensive until like someone was like, saying that's gay is like really rude. And people are like, oh, fuck. Okay, my bad. And like you have these things. But the idea is that there's a line. And if you go over and beyond it, then what happens is that becomes a rebound effect. And then people are like, well, fuck it. We can't say anything. I can't say the word purple and I can't say the word red. It's just like offensive. And it's like, then you get to like the right wing media of how I'm going to get canceled. It's like, okay, calm down. You know what I mean? It's like, then it's just like a headache. And it's not that. It's just literally, I think cancel culture, again, humans are horrible at marketing sometimes. It's just being held accountable.
Really it is. That's how I look at it. It's like, it's not, it's just being like, hey, what you did, I don't agree with. And this is how you could do better. And
sometimes there's going to be times where you say that and that person's not going to change and it's going to fucking hurt. It's going to fucking upset you that it's like, God damn it, I told you not to do that. And they keep doing it. But when you start, like when you lean in, that you're becoming the gross, I was literally about to say upside down world, vanilla, like you're literally like, it's like consuming you, that there are some points where you're like, you know what? Someone bigger than me, I can't change the world, and someone bigger than me and someone more powerful is going to say the exact same thing I said to you, and it's going to embarrass you. But when you keep going after that same fucking person,
it fucks with your energy, and it fucks with your mental health. So there's a time where you're like, okay, you said what you said, and again, I've said this earlier in the episode or the last episode, like you could only control yourself, you can't control other people. So you could give your opinion, say how you feel, tell them this was fucked up, I'm offended, and they could only make their decision to do better or not. And if they choose violence and they're like, nah, I want to keep going, doing whatever, then change a channel, unfollow, don't be friends with that person, like, or just create boundaries or whatever it is to protect yourself and your mental health, because obviously this person triggers you. So create boundaries, whatever that looks like.
One of the best examples that I can think of right now is the whole like Dave Chappelle thing, right? Where it's like, that man, he's a lost cause at this point to me. To me personally, like I have friends that try to defend him. They're like, oh, I just went to a Dave Chappelle concert. And I was like, well, that's weird. Because I'm like, he's fucking offensive. He's transphobic and he's also fucking sexist and homophobic and weird. And so I'm like, and he like, what I also hate is that he made a point about a point that someone made a point for him. You know what I mean? He was like, look, I'm going to say something that's going to offend people. And those people are going to be people in power. And guess what? I'm going to upset them. And it worked. And then but now his whole thing is that, motherfucker, you sound exactly like the people you hate. Don't police me. Don't tell me I can't make jokes. It's like, when does it ever end? But at that point, when I have friends that are like, he's the greatest, why don't you like him? And they're like trying to sell him to me. I just go, why do you need to do that?
Right.
Dave Chappelle doesn't need my money. He don't give a fuck about me. He doesn't care. And also,
he doesn't care about you either. He doesn't care about any of us.
Exactly. And I don't care about him. I got to let it go. Do I think what he said is offensive? Absolutely. Because I have a lot of trans friends that find his shit offensive. I side with them. But at this point, like, he's not listening to us. If anything, he's making more money off of us talking about it. So it's just like, I set the boundaries with my homies that like, yo, if you want to be his fan, you want to go to his shows, go ahead. Go do you, boo. I'm going to go to a cooler comic.
But don't try to come here and try to convince me.
Because who are you trying to convince? Who are you trying to convince?
Why? Right.
Why are you trying to convince me?
Is Dave Chappelle going to try to to back
are you getting
up?
commission?
Right.
I hope you're getting paid the way you're
Right.
trying to sell him to me. It's a TED Talk.
Exactly. Like, do you think like he's going to have your back when shit hits the fan?
And just let him go.
It's fine.
I still laugh at the sketch that I liked.
Skets?
The sketch. I still laugh at the sketches that he did on fucking the Chappelle Show. I was like, oh man, that guy was funny. This one, I don't know. I don't know this one. I don't know him. You know what I mean? So it's just like, it's setting the boundaries. It's like knowing all these things. But again, it is this idea that we forget that cancel culture is just being held accountable culture.
That was the whole. That was
the whole point of it. But
things got carried
we also
away.
forget that we, as an audience, as viewers, as the judge, juror, and fucking prosecutor, and lawyers, is that we forget our responsibility is we have to listen and accept the apology if it's a genuine apology, right? Like I always think that there are some apologies that are not genuine.
Allow people to at least try to do better.
Yes.
And if they don't, then don't stress about it. Move on. Change the channel. Unfollow. Mute. Block. Whatever you got to do.
Because this
Create
ain't gonna
boundaries.
end. This is never gonna end.
You can't control anybody. Like that's the thing. Like you can only do so much. You can only control yourself and your energy, and that's it.
Yeah.
If you don't like something, change a song.
Keep it pushing.
Yeah. Just.
And sometimes justice gets served. There are
Yeah.
little rare times.
Exactly.
Hope.
R. Kelly is going to be in prison for 30 years.
I know, and that's like a funny thing because then some people are like, 30
That's
years.
when it's like cancel culture is like, that's when it's like.
But here's the thing about that. Oh my God, now you got me going.
I know.
We knew about R. Kelly for what's so funny?
We did know him for.
We've known R. Kelly was a creep for 30 years.
Yeah,
now he's going to jail
was
for
like,
30 years. So that makes no sense to me. Send him to jail for life. He chose the right victim. Unfortunately, he chose black women, and that's the thing that we learned, unfortunately, in this country is that a lot of us don't listen to black women. We do not listen to them, and that is super unfair because our culture is super fucked up because it's sexist and racist. And the thing about R. Kelly is that he got away with it for far too long,
way too long.
and there are so many people that
there
looked at that.
videos of him. I mean, peeing is just
yes, I mean no king shaming, but he was like underage
girls. Like it wasn't
and,
like peeing on
them
anybody,
and like kidnapping them and shit. Anyways, but like there was such a huge issue that I knew when that news dropped, I didn't want to go on Twitter. I just knew that's like setting up the boundary because there were people being like 30 years. That's
everyone has their opinion.
Well, because everyone's like, damn, he doesn't need to go to jail for 30 years. And then there are people that are like, that's not enough time. That is not enough time.
It needs to be full life.
Bill Cosby. Fucking, what my whole thing is Harvey Weinstein still hasn't served a day in jail. You know what I mean? Like, you want to talk about the fact that he's also a white man that gets away fucking bullshit. Like, that's so unfair. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's also like, I'm not going to say that's unfair to R. Kelly because R. Kelly is shitty too. Mm-hmm. It just sucks that fucking Harvey is just this white dude. You know?
Getting away with everything. Okay.
But yes, but
Rose
still,
for president.
No, I could never.
Never.
But I will say, still have hope. And hope, I try to be as hopeful as possible with a lot of things because honestly, what's the harm for me personally? What's the harm in having hope? What's the harm of like just trying to just be like?
Sometimes it's tiring.
It is, and
sometimes I'm exhausted.
You know what? That's completely valid for you.
Yeah, because sometimes I have so much hope, and other times I'm just like so like exhausted of trying to like find hope. Like, you know what I mean? Like it goes up and down.
And you know what
and
it
right
is,
now
though?
I'm exhausted. To be quite honest, I'm numb. I'm exhausted. I'm not surprised. It's just life. It's just like America.
Yeah, well, America's stupid. But I will say, one thing about hope is best with community. So if you're not feeling hopeful right now, I got you. In your community, I got you.
I'm gonna like tear up.
Okay, but I'll keep your hope alive.
Okay.
If it takes a village to raise a child, I think it takes a community to keep hope alive. So I got you.
Rose for president.
Oh my God. I can't use hope because Obama did. So fuck,
damn.
I gotta find a new word.
Well,
bring
hope
back.
Bring hope. Big hope.
Make America hope again.
Hopeful again.
Yeah, you're right. It's hopeful again. Obviously, that's not going to work. I recede ever running for president. Should I just say that I'm running for president? This is me.
This is your announcement.
This is my announcement. I am running for president of the United
yes.
States. I am of age. No, I'm not. You have to be 35 to be president. I have 3 more years.
Will you be 35? No, you're 30. Wait.
I'm 32.
And when is the next election?
2024.
24, yeah.
So I'll be 34 at that time. So
Okay,
so then I have to wait for
another.
So this is me running for president for 2028.
Yeah.
There we go.
We're starting the campaign now.
Starting the campaign now. I mean, you have to. You have to start at some point.
Yeah, we're putting the fillers out there.
Yeah, exactly. I got a hangnail because I was
oh
stress
my God,
talking.
You
I
do.
know. I'm gonna pull it out. I'm gonna pull it. I just did it.
Okay,
plug yourself. Rose McAleese. You can find me at Rosetta Stone or the new blog on theblock.com.
And we all love you. Just want to say that all the listeners would vote for you.
If I offended anyone, I do feel
you're definitely going to offend somebody, but that's okay.
I know, but I will
People
say.
get offended by the smallest things I say. Like when Brian didn't want to get me tissue paper in that episode because I was like sneezing. Someone was like, "Are they even together?" He didn't even want to get her tissue. And it's like,
why are people? Wow,
people are offended.
sensitive.
So they're definitely offended. Is Rachel here?
No, that was a girl with pink hair. I saw her backpack.
Okay.
And she had pink hair. Oh yeah, but no, people might be too sensitive. But you know what? Be sensitive, maybe not on the internet. That's my thing.
Yeah.
But if I did offend people, I do genuinely. I want to be a good person. I do not want to offend everyone. But fuck Tommy Lasagna. I hate that.
But honestly,
bitch.
the people that you're offending are the people who are like pro-lifers.
Fuck those hoes.
So it's
actually,
the people
stop having sex with a pro-lifer.
The people you're offending are the people you actually want to offend.
Yes, exactly. The people that I'm
fine.
like, you don't get to be my
people. If you're
people.
offended, maybe you should unsubscribe.
Yeah, there you go. If you're offended, bye. It was nice that you stayed this long.
Take care of your mental health. Unsubscribe if you don't agree with anything we're saying. I don't care. I don't care if you don't like. I only want people of this like-minded individuals. I mean, okay, look, we could educate each other. That's fine, but in this particular case, fuck you if you're all, like anti.
Yeah, we love keep fucking if you pro.
I keep fucking if you pro. But anyways,
yourself.
Follow me, Stefanie Maegan, or go to brocotherapy.com. All that shit is there.
Woo! Put it back on.
Okay. Aw, Rose, I love you.
I love you too.
Bye.
Good night.
Loud. Broke girl therapy.